MPs have just voted with a majority of 267 to repeal parts of the Legacy Act, which offers conditional immunity from prosecution to those accused of criminal offences. That includes British Army veterans who served during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Now, 7 former SAS commanders have launched a last-ditch effort to try and stop it. And we've got some more breaking news, beg your pardon. Donald Trump will not impose tariffs, scheduled now on the 1st of February. How many times have we been marched up this hill only to be marched back down? Those tariffs on February the 1st, just another part of Trump mania. There won't be tariffs. Certainly the British coronership will be breathing a sigh of relief. But just back to that story, just that vote has gone through, and I'm joined in the studio now by somebody who signed that letter, one of those very ex-SAS commanders, Nick, who joins me now. Nick Kitson, they're playing around with the screen. Nick Kitson, thank you very much for joining us. You just heard there the vote has gone through, but before that, tell me what motivated you to sign this letter.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for having us in. It's not the first letter that we've written, and collectively, I think we're just extremely disturbed about the haste. I mean, you've just given the news of the remedial order vote tonight. We didn't expect anything else with the parliamentary arithmetic, but the remedial order has been voted in, which removes provisions within the current Northern Ireland legislation before they've actually finished putting together what the government wishes to be the future legislation. And we're concerned that it's precipitous, it's very damaging for morale. It's very hard to envisage deploying soldiers to war zones like Ukraine, currently being talked about, when frankly people don't know what their legal status is and whether decades after the event there's going to be all sorts of investigations and inquiries. And I note your headline talked about criminal prosecutions. That's not really what the cause for concern is. I mean, just to make it clear yet again, as everyone does, is that there's no call for immunity against the law,
yes,
for immunity from wrongdoing. What the problem is there's endless investigations and inquiries which are hugely disruptive for people's life. No military veteran or serving soldier wants sympathy or an easy life. We wouldn't have joined if that was it. But what we want is fairness. And this legislation is pushing towards a situation in Northern Ireland. Much of it was discussed in the House this evening, where there's a complete imbalance of information and evidence. So how these investigations go forward on a balanced way is a great concern.
Nick Kitson, of course, as a former SAS commander, have had SAS operatives in this studio so many times who served in Northern Ireland, split-second decisions, in the moment, following orders to deal with IRA terrorists who were given letters of mercy. They never face the same persecution under the law as you. How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, as I said, it's just imbalance. I mean, following orders is never a great phrase to use, but you're right in pointing out that these are lawful actions within very clearly explained and trained and practiced rules of engagement on operations and activities that were sanctioned up to the very highest levels of government. And yeah, you've got split-second decisions. Of course, things might go wrong. As we've seen in some of the inquests already, Clonot, for example, where judges and coroners are able to pore over it at their leisure with assistance of endless lawyers to say, well, you could have done this, you should have done that, you didn't need to do that. It's just not reality. And while I understand, a lot of victims, of which have been many on all sides of the equation in Northern Ireland and other places, of course, people want truth and they want to know what happened. But looking forward, which is really what our concern is, and those of the generals who've written as well, is that this is not really a sound basis for legal operations in the future. You can't, when you're in those situations, you can't think to yourself, oh gosh, should I do this or should I do that? Am I going to be chased by lawyers on the basis of legal precedent or new laws that don't exist but might do in 10 years' time or 20 years' time? It's not a way to run an army.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, obviously, as well as Nick Kitson, you can see I'm joined by 3 other proud veterans in the studio today. That's Jeff Butler, a former paratrooper, Liam Caddy, a former Royal Marine, and David Holmes, a former RAF regiment gunner. Gentlemen, I'd like to get to your take on this. You've all come down to London today. You've been in the parliamentary debate. You were brought over by Mark Francois MP very kindly earlier on. We couldn't get you on the previous show. You were cancelled by Donald Trump. Sorry about that, but here you are now. Jeff Butler, perhaps I could start with you. How does it make you feel that the government's doing this?
We knew they were going to do it. We're very upset. They won't listen. They've already jumped the gun before the Supreme Court has made a ruling. We spent a lot of time at the court listening to all the arguments from the various people, and they're just trying to get this rush through. We're not going to get any justice. We know that. That isn't what we were about. But we don't see why they should get justice against us when half of these were the people shooting at us in the first place.
David Holmes.
As Nick had said, it's the government are arguing about they always use the term immunity, where it was actually conditional immunity based on truth and reconciliation. Truth and reconciliation is what the victims and the families want. They're not going to get it by using the process of law. They're only going to get it with that conditional immunity. And the fact that they say that it's not in compliance with the ECHR when that is still in process in the Supreme Court. I'm one of 4 people who actually did that intervention, and between us and with some crowdfunding, put the money up for that intervention to get that through because they just abandoned it.
Liam Caddy, let's finally get your take on this. I mean, clearly, passions are running high, and this vote really compounding the issue that a lot of people, a lot of veterans, a lot of service people that's presently still serving, just feel completely let down by successive governments, but maybe particularly this one.
Martin, you are 100% correct. This government has stabbed the veteran community and future veteran communities in the back because this sets a precedent going forward. And it does impact on our capability as a nation, providing defence going forward as well. The only winners out of today's vote are the human rights companies, the likes of Phil Shinner and Lee Day, our enemies abroad, and also the Labour Party must have a larger strategy and game that they are playing here to compromise our security as a nation going forward, and also stabbing us veterans community in the back. We are a large demographic when it comes to voting, and they will feel this in the votes going forward.
Okay, let me put some points to you. Well, a spokesman for the Northern Ireland here. We have a spokesman to read out. The Northern Ireland office has told GB News this. The last government sought to grant immunity to IRA terrorists and to remove the right of UK Troubles victims to pursue a civil claim. Our domestic courts ruled that both of these policies breach the UK's legal obligations, and the remedial order is therefore necessary to repeal them and provide confidence and clarity for families and veterans. And the government's Troubles Bill will put in place new and effective protections. Nick Kitson, are you satisfied with that statement?
Well, I mean, it's a very selective description of the situation. The bill was giving, as has already been mentioned, conditional immunity. It was all based around a legacy reconciliation and truth process. And I don't know of any successful reconciliation and truth process that involves retribution and compensation, which this one appears to. So it was not put in, as far as I know. I'm not a member of the Conservative Party, but it wasn't put in to give immunity to terrorists specifically.
Could I ask you four gentlemen just a one-word answer, please? I ask a lot of servicemen, veterans who come on the show, a difficult question. Would you fight for this government today?
Absolutely not.
No. I'd fight for my family, I'd fight for my country. I wouldn't fight for this government.
Not a chance.
I don't think with this legal uncertainty, no.
Even our children, I wouldn't let them join the army.
I think it's just astonishing. When I hear that, I get really emotional. No doubt you do too. I mean, you served that you're prepared to pay the ultimate price and you wouldn't do it again. Gentlemen, we have to leave it there. I think that speaks huge volumes. Thank you very much.